if you have 5 feet, the likelihood of keeping 5 feet is pretty good. I mean, so if Costa does get very aggressive on this descent, whatever kind of distance he can make is going to be really to his benefit. If he can stay away, even on the lower slopes of this descent, then he might stay away all the way to the finish.
And that's what I meant by taking the risk, and he's young, and so he's more willing to take those risks. If you can get away on the descent and be able to have that kind of gap without having to come to the line with 2 other riders, you might take that chance and try to go for it, and if it doesn't work out, you're still going to have the legs to be able to do the sprint. So right now, here comes our 2 riders. This is what we're waiting for, as Eisenhart and Roscoff are looking up here. They're talking right now like, hey, what do we do? Do we blow by Rob Britton, or do we get up to our teammate Atapuma, or do we sit on Rob Britton and let Atapuma stay up there? So a little bit of conversation going on right now between these riders. But BMC with a full stack of riders in the front group right now. Still 3 riders in front, which is Adrian Costa, Andrew Talansky, and Lachlan Morton.
And he's going to defer to Roscoff for that. Eisenhart dropping into 4th place there right behind Roscoff. He's going to want to let Roscoff decide that. They're probably just going to have to attack Rob Britton up here. There are a couple small uphill sections as you get a little closer to the bottom. Again, we look back up and over 80K an hour right now, and that's Rob Britton actually getting caught from behind. So you know just how fast that BMC duo is going. They are absolutely flying down this descent.
They are flying. If Rob Britton got dropped once, it's very easy to get dropped twice as the BMC duo comes flying past him. Very technical on these turns as these 2 riders are going to fly around here trying to get up to their teammate Atapuma. Hopefully going wide is
Roscoff looks like he was riding a little bit on the edge right there. Went from 1st to 3rd in his little group right here. Atapuma still on the front, but that's very easy to do on that descent.
I'm sure it could happen on a lot of different turns. Atapuma continuing to pedal. I just want him to look over his shoulder and see 2 red jerseys coming and say, hey, I got some help and support, and we are ready to go to the finish. Because I think it would make a difference having the 2 riders, 3 BMC riders in full chase mode trying to bring back the leaders, I think could help. The other big question we have right now is, where is the yellow jersey? Robin Carpenter was 2 minutes and 50 seconds back. All of these GC riders are about 2 minutes and 19 seconds back. So if he's able to take some time on this descent, he could end up keeping the yellow jersey. Robin Carpenter riding for Holoweska Citadel. He even has a teammate in there to help him chase. Trek Segafredo was also chasing with Peter Stetten. It was a large group of about 15 riders, and hopefully all of them make it down this descent safely and quickly, but not really getting, I think, great time checks right now, showing 4 minutes to that yellow jersey group.
Wow, that gap is really starting to expand. A couple more very sharp corners. This is something you can go wide open, no brakes, but there's going to be a right-hand turn up here that is very, very quick to catch people out. But back to the front group of 3, that is Adrian Costa, the young rider from Action Hagens-Berman on the front. We've got Andrew Talansky in green. This is another sharp left-hand turn here. See how Costa handles this one while he's got a nice view at the front. Morton just watching these guys. I think this is going to really turn out to be a little bit of an informational gathering for Lachlan Morton. He's going to be going down this hill in 3rd position. He's going to be watching exactly how Adrian Costa is pedaling, how Talansky is handling these corners, and that will play into what he does later on. I mean, there are some sections where you can go ahead and attack and maybe take a shot, and we'll see exactly which rider feels like they've got a little bit of confidence in that move.
The youngest rider in the race right now on the back, Adrian Costa for Action Hagens-Berman, trying to stick on the wheels. This is what I mentioned about paying a lot of attention on the small gaps that open up. You can't allow, he's so lightweight, you really can't allow a gap to open up. That takes a huge amount of energy for him to get back up onto the wheels. That's how he got dropped on stage 1. Very good time trials, 2 times a second in the World Junior Championships in the time trial right now, sitting on the back of Lachlan Morton and Andrew Talansky. 2 domestic teams going up against the World Tour team. A little bit of pressure on Andrew Talansky not to be able to mess this finish up, depending on what happens coming in. Obviously, the GC is on the line. Could have a swapping of the yellow jersey. And finally, 3 BMC riders all together in chase mode, trying to bring back our lead 3. So this is chase number 1 on the road right now.
We are looking at a battle for the Team GC play out pretty clearly. You know, they take the Team GC marking on the first 3 riders to cross the finish line each day. So BMC doing everything they can for that, but they don't really care about that as much as a stage win or the GC lead would be going into this left-hand turn. The course marshal doing a good job of letting them know just how sharp this corner is. TJ Eisenhart on the front already knows this, willing to go ahead a little bit faster in through this 10K to go sign, but we've got Joey Roscoff there in second position and Darwin Adepuma in third with Rob Britton. And back to the front group of three here. These guys are so fast on this ascent.
Right, we talked about the BMC riders having a chance to bring in back our lead three, but these guys are flying as they are continue to work together, and that's part of the key of why they're able to go so well. All three of them taking turns coming to the front. Talansky right now, Costa following the wheels, Lachlan Morton, and you can see the speed. The little changes in their handlebars and the directions of the wheels, really you can see like how twitchy it is because they're going so fast.
Another tough corner coming up here. Got a little cattle guard to make their way through. This is one of the flatter sections here. You've seen just how much pedaling has been going on. It's going to take a lot out of these riders. We saw Talansky asking for bottle after bottle. You know, he called his team car over and over again. Looks like he has just skipped a turn also. So it seems like we've got finish line on the mind for Talansky. I was reminded of a stage win in Paris-Nice that Talansky had a couple years ago, and that was out of a small group as well. So he has those finish chops that you talk about, you know, the quick little speed, or at least the tactics in how to do that. You know, maybe skipping that one turn will be the difference for him as they get down into the flats before the finish. Still looking at about 7K to go for these three riders coming into Payson. So you can just see with this shot, they're going to continue down that valley and basically drop right down into downtown. And very short distance through a neighborhood where they've got about a K&a-half before making a left, and then one final right-hand turn to drop down into the finish. So it's not very complicated. The roads are very, very wide, and it'll make it pretty easy for a rider who's got some guile to go ahead and be patient and maybe save something for one big move instead of making two or three little ones.
The Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah. This is stage 3, 191 kilometers, covering over 700 miles right now. And even though this is a stage race right now, these three riders need to ride this like it's a one-day race, because time bonus is at the finish of 10, 6, and 4. Whoever crosses that finish line first is going to take over the yellow jersey, assuming that the current yellow jersey wearer from Holoweska Citadel, Robin Carpenter, is a 4 minutes back. And so it's really going to come down to these three riders. First, second, and third. Those 10-second time bonus going to make the difference of who's going to be able to win the stage and take the yellow jersey, which is the exact same scenario we saw play out yesterday with Robin Carpenter. He had to win the stage to take yellow, and that's what's happening right here. If you were to categorize these riders, I mean, Lachlan Morton is a climber. Adrian Costa, I'm not sure how I'd categorize him. He's still young, still developing, still finding his own, a time trialist and a climber. Talansky, though, is a good climber, a good time. He's more of an all-arounder, and he has a bit of speed. And this is why I think Talansky is going to have the edge here if this comes down to the sprint, comes down to a sprint.
Well, it's a good way to break it down. I mean, Adrian Costa, you can't discount the fact that he is really an incredible powerhouse for such a small guy. I mean, he can climb like crazy, but to be a time trial champion, you really have to be able to put down that power and keep it going no matter what. Flat, uphill, downhill, it doesn't matter. You know, you see these guys swapping back and forth all the time. They are so very aware of what's happening. Talansky going for the classic shoe tightening on his way into the finish. This means business. You are not messing around if you're reaching down to squish your swollen feet into those shoes just a little bit tighter.
Thinking about a stage win, thinking about the yellow jersey here at the 2016 Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah. Going back to Adrian Costa, you talk about that power, but on those uphill sprints when he was going in stage 1, sprinting against Jaramillo from United Healthcare, he really got gapped off very quickly. He didn't really have that snap to be able to respond to what Daniel Jaramillo from United Healthcare could do when he took the KOM jersey at the end of the day. Costa now going off to the left, 4 kilometers to go, so we are getting down into the nitty-gritty right now. 3 riders, and as I said, the speed is so high, there is not an opportunity to attack. It's going too quick, and so really you're going to have to start thinking about how you want to win the sprint. Positioning is going to be important, like I said. You get into 500 meters to go, you don't want to be on the front leading this thing out.
No, that would be far too deep into the finish to really risk it, but You know, there are 2 jerseys on offer at the finish. There's one in yellow and there's one in white. The best young rider was his teammate Colin Joyce, but Action Hagen's Berman rider Costa is at least going to pull that one on because he has a very big lead over any other rider who qualifies in that. It's his other teammate Nilson Paulus back in the bigger chase group way back there. So it looks like he has got that white jersey wrapped up, but does he want to turn that into yellow?
Obviously, I'd love to turn that to yellow. Speaking of jerseys, who would you give the red jersey, most aggressive jersey to?
I think that would probably be Morton in my eyes. I mean, looking at Atapuma, he's been pretty strong, but I think he made a big tactical mistake. You know, I think probably TJ Eisenhower would be my other pick for the most aggressive jersey just because he did such an excellent job.
Did do an excellent job. I was thinking Simon Payot, the Swiss rider who kind of went away solo and all and everything like that, but otherwise it's kind of a little bit up in the air. But yellow jersey is what most of these riders are thinking of. Here's our yellow jersey group with, I don't see the yellow jersey. I see Rob Squire, Nilson Paulus, and see obviously Joe Dombrowski. Yellow jersey's up. He's pulling on the front is what the yellow jersey is. Robin Carpenter driving it on the front along with Trek Segafredo. He's not willing to be able to give this race up right now. Again, most of the riders in front were 2 minutes and 19 seconds down. So it's going to be, he's going to have to take back some time before we come into the finish for him to keep that yellow.
Heading down into the town of Payson, that is our lead triple of Talansky, Costa, and Morton. They're coming in. They're going to be making a left-hand turn at the end of this straightaway, but still there's a bit of time now. Looking like that is the 2K to go sign. Once they make that left-hand turn, they will have another long straightaway that can really look at each other and figure out how am I going to try and beat these other 2 riders. Costa not really looking like he's too tactical in his approach to the finish. He is very willing to jump through. You see Morton going through in the front as well. Talansky, he is looking a little bit cagier. I feel like he's got a little bit more twitch going on, as you mentioned, Frankie, because he is right on the wheel of Morton and very willing to stay as close as he can. He's going to take another pull here, slight downhill, slight uphill, and a right-hand turn at the end of the straightaway, and that will be it. They will be sprinting towards the finish. You can't really see it when you make the turn. It's a little bit of a descent into the line, so it's going to be a little bit of trust. You're going to have to look at the signs on the side of the road and see that 500 to go sign and know that you're getting close, but that police car is leading them through here as they make that right-hand turn coming up. Talansky going to be willing to pull through or not. He just got the elbow flick from Costa, but doesn't look like Talansky's going to want to do it. Here goes Morton, first attack of the finish.
Lachlan Morton attacking down the left-hand side. Talansky playing a little bit cagey, making Adrian Costa be able to bridge that. Lachlan Morton sensing a bit of a gap. A little bit different scenario with 1 kilometer to go right now. Costa looking over his shoulder. Talansky not biting. This is going to get a little bit cagey and dangerous as Costa now is pulling off again. Different for a lot of these climbers to actually do a sprint.
And downhill to the finish, so this means that it's good for Morton. Morton has a gap now. It's going to be downhill. Really tough to bridge any kind of distance on a downhill. Talansky finally getting away from Costa, but he has left this too long. He's going to have a really hard time chasing that very determined and motivated Lachlan Morton, going for the double here in Payson. Look at him coming over this rise into the finish.
Lachlan Morton won here before at the Tour of Utah, going over Mount Nebo solo and now trying to come into the finish. An unbelievable ride, and look at the speed difference right now. The winner will take the yellow jersey. A 10-second time bonus as Lachlan Morton has his head down. He is going to become our new yellow jersey wearer. Racing for Team Jelly Belly. He set out, he knew this was a stage. He circled it, hands in the air as he is our stage 3 winner. What a ride by Lachlan Morton. Tim, you picked it.
Man, that is a heck of a finish by Lachlan Morton there. Definite use of prior knowledge. He attacked before that corner knowing that it was downhill almost all the way to the line. All he had to do is go ahead and get a small gap before the corner, and then everyone is basically riding the same exact speed. Talansky letting a little bit of poker get in the way. He was sitting on the back of Costa as he decided to let the young rider try and close that gap. You can see the replay here as Morton goes on the left-hand side. Costa immediately stands up, but doesn't quite get on terms right away, and it was up to Talansky to try and close that down.
Talansky should have just came around Costa, but he's thinking Costa had a little bit more power, but it just wasn't to be as Lachlan Morton from Team Jelly Belly crosses that finish line. super excited to be able to take over that yellow jersey. He earned it. He rode on the front and the bottom of the climb. He was attacking on the climb. He kept the pace up. He believed in himself. His team believed in him, setting the pace at the lower slopes of Mount Nebo, and it paid off for Lachlan Morton. Now we see our trio of BMC riders coming in with Rob Britton right in the middle. Atapuma is the rider they've been trying to keep in the hunt, the best climber on that Team BMC here at the Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah.
Coming across the line for 4th position, looks like Joey Roscoff on the front, Rob Britton in 5th, Darwin Atapuma in 6th, with TJ Eisenhart in excellent 7th place for him. I mean, that was a very, very good ride, doing a lot of work for his BMC teammates. Unfortunately, they were the ones who were stuck together like glue back there in the second group, unable to get any distance made up on that front group of 3. So huge win by Morton, giving him the yellow jersey. Atapuma trying his best to save a little bit of time, but here we go. Taking a look at the yellow jersey being led into town by the United Healthcare duo. This is going to be a question of how close can he get. It's not going to be for the yellow jersey, but it's going to be able to keep Robin Carpenter as close as possible to GC. I believe is 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
2 minutes and 23 seconds, but now that Lachlan Morton has a 10-second time bonus, it goes down to 2 minutes and 13 seconds, and this is what they're shooting for as United Healthcare is pulling on the front. Robin Carpenter was all in for today to try to keep the yellow jersey. I don't think it's going to play out at all for him to stay up there in the general classification as we get into the later. Maybe a top 10, maybe a top 15 for Robin Carpenter being able to be there. He was 21st last year here at the Tour of Utah. But right now, for the rest of these riders, what they're trying to do is salvage their GC hopes as Trek Segafredo's on the front trying to pull for Peter Stetina and United Healthcare. 2 minutes and 13, and then we'll have a change of the yellow jersey, and that's where Lachlan Morton is standing at the finish line right now, waiting to see as we get ready to have our, I think we're getting ready here, 1 kilometer to go.
Yeah, so
it's a large group, though, that stayed together. They really didn't separate. I thought they'd separate more on that fast descent.
No, it's just a little bit too much time for Robin Carpenter to keep that jersey. He's getting a push, some helping hands in this group. You know, you want the guy who's shown a lot of heart to get over the line to keep a jersey, but it looks like it is too much. Over 3 minutes already, and they still have about 700 meters to go before the line. So this group really full of United Healthcare riders, full of Trek Segafredo riders. There's a lot of teams here with kind of hopeful shots at GC. You see Keel Reinen was able to make it over the top of that climb with his teammate Pete Stetina. Robin Carpenter taking a massive pull here, putting a lot of riders in the box right now. Carpenter wanted to ride all the way to the line. He's not sure how the finish went with those front riders, so he's doing everything he can to get across that line.
Well, he doesn't know if it's 2 minutes or 4 minutes as the sprint comes across the line right there. Robin Carpenter doing a great ride to try to protect that yellow jersey, but he's going to lose that to the rider from Jelly Belly, which is Lachlan Morton, as our group of about 15 come across the line. Total destruction today on Mount Nebo. We weren't sure how that was going to play out, if the GC riders were going to test each other, and that's exactly what they did, going up to 9,300 feet over the tallest mountain in the Wasatch Mountains as we descended right here into Payson. So now for Joe Dombrowski, I mean, he won the Tour of Utah last year. He's going to be 3.5 minutes down. It's going to be a little bit behind as we